Okay, here we go. We're getting ready for another market close live stream. Just making sure the chat is open because the most important thing that we do besides talking about the market and stocks and crypto is answering your questions. So if you have a question, post the ticker symbol in the comments and we will answer that question live during our broadcast. So make sure you do that. And I just want to remind everybody that we do have a format. It's about a 1 hour show, give or take, and we've got 4 segments, about 15 minutes each. And I just want to make sure you're aware of it. As we continue doing these, I won't mention these as much in the beginning of live streams, and we'll just jump right into it and go with the flow. But the 4 segments, first we're going to start talking about the market. I'm going to give you an overview of what I saw in the market, what was working today, what maybe didn't work so well. And then our second is talking about the best performing and worst performing stocks of the day and what we can learn from that. The third segment is going to be talking about a specific company or topic. Today, we're talking about the big win for Palantir and also Bitcoin. The bull run has begun. And then finally, we're going to end the show with answering your questions. So if you have a company, a ticker symbol that you would like us to look at, we'll look at the financials for the company, we'll look at the stock chart for the company. Just post that ticker symbol in the comment section and we will go over it. So that's the format that we're taking for the show. So we'll run with that. So here we go. Welcome back, investors, to Ticker Time News. I'm Adam, and we are here for another market close live stream. Thank you for joining me today. I greatly appreciate it. And just as a quick reminder, if you do have a ticker symbol or a company you would like us to look at, post it in the comments with the ticker symbol and your question, and we'll go over it during the live stream. If you are watching the replay of this live stream, just leave that ticker symbol and question in the comment section, and we will answer that question in our next live stream. So we're looking forward to your questions. That's the biggest thing that I want to do in this show is answer your questions. So make sure to post those. We got the feed up and we are monitoring your questions as they come in. So we'll take them as we go. Okay, for the markets today, here's what I saw in the market today. Stocks paired early day losses as the Dow Jones climbed back from an earlier loss to end the day up just over 100 points. And the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ, they both turned positive as well after it was reported that Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell told a closed-door group of Republicans that he would offer a short-term debt ceiling extension later today. So we'll see how that goes. Meanwhile, the ADP report showed businesses added the most jobs in 3 months, and payrolls data on Friday is expected to show the labor market recovery remains strong, bringing the case for maybe earlier tapering by the Fed. We'll also have to wait and see on that. Oil and gas stocks are the big story this week. Last year, oil production was reduced due to the pandemic and the resulting lack of demand. However, with economies reopening, demand for oil and gas have surged, driving selling prices higher. For example, oil prices have jumped to multi-year highs, even though they have pulled back slightly today after OPEC Plus said it would continue with its policy of increasing oil output gradually. The White House and other world leaders have wanted OPEC Plus to increase the supply output, but they refused to do it. There had been fears that they would sharply increase production, but it didn't happen. Natural gas prices have also been rising thanks to high demand, low inventories, and rising coal prices as well. All of these factors have led to a rebound in oil and gas stocks. That's what I saw in the market today. What did you see in the market that you liked? Or what did you see in the market that you did not like? Well, let's hop over to the charts here and look at the companies that performed well today. And then we'll also look at the companies that didn't perform quite as well. First off, Affirm was up a solid 19.95% today. If you look at the bottom right corner here, you can see this blue chart. They ticked up all day long. And you can see at the very bottom, it's a little harder to see, but the volume right around 1246, there was a big push in volume. And then for the end of the day, there was a big push all the way into the close. And of course, some people were taking profits as well for the day traders and swing traders on this massive run for Affirm. We also have Bit Digital running up 8.4%. Bitcoin is on a massive run. It is up over $55,000 right now. It is sitting at $55,283, jumping around from there. It's up 7.3% as we are speaking now. Litecoin is also up 5-6%, just jumped up a little bit more as of right now. We have Grayscale Bitcoin Trust is up 5.7%. So we're going to see a lot of cryptocurrency related stocks. They are going to be up today, as well as most cryptocurrencies. But we'll talk about Bitcoin specifically in a moment. We see SunPower was up 5.1%. That's a solar company. We got Marathon Digital Holdings. That's another related to cryptocurrency. Coinbase up also. Both of those companies over 4% today. Enphase Energy, I'm glad to see they jumped over 4% today. I love that company. It's my most favorite company in the solar sector. We have Upstart jumping 3.8% today. MicroStrategy was up 3.5% today. DocuSign was up 3.8%. It's up to $265 right now. We got SolarWinds. They were up again today, 3.2%. Snowflake was up over 3.1%, but they've been kind of flat since their last earnings report. They were under $300 at one point. Right now, they're at $309. And since their last earnings report, the stock pushed back up to that $300 level, and it's kind of been hanging out there steady and flat. It has its ups and downs every day, but it's holding right around that $300 a share range. We've got Ethereum up today, 2.9%, almost 3% there. We've got Etsy up 2.8%. They're up to $209 a share. DoorDash is up 2.7%. Excuse me. We've got Splunk. Whoa, they're actually coming back up a little bit. They're at 2.7%. They're at $146 a share right now. Open Door Technologies has jumped 2.6%. They're at $19.72 a share right now. And they just took that $9 billion of debt that they can go shopping in the housing market for their iBuyer program. That $9 billion, that's going to go a long way for Open Door, because as the housing market starts to contract, as it is doing right now in many markets, that's going to provide an opportunity for Open Door to use that $9 billion to go shopping and purchasing those homes that they slightly fix up and then they resell for a profit. We've got, let's see, what else is happening in the after hours here. We've got Shopify, they're up 2.4%. CarMax is up 2.4%. They were hit a couple days ago pretty hard in a sell-off. Let's see, SoFi is up to $16.62. It's up to, it was up 2.2% today. Let's just take a closer look at SoFi. I know a lot of you are paying attention to this company. And you can see right here on the chart, it's had some highs. I mean, it's been as high as $28, $29. And you can see, let me get this chart just right here. All right. It reached a low on August 17th. And since reaching that low, and that was a low of $13.56, it's been in an uptrend ever since. So I like to see that. So if we can put a trend line on the bottom of this candle here and draw it along here like so, you can see that the company is in an uptrend right now. And if it wants to stay on this trend line, the stock does need to pull back just a little bit further, but it doesn't have to. It could easily bounce off of its moving average here, which is sitting right now at about $15.30. I believe that would be a good foundation for a bounce in SoFi to continue along its trend line. And you can see that the volume has picked up substantially going back to, let's see, this is June 25th. Volume has been crazy. Of course, there was a lot of selling at the beginning, causing the stock to go down, but this volume has stayed up and has intensified over the past month. And you can look, there's a big divide from its last peak right here, June 23rd, going all the way back to just before that on June the 2nd. So during the month of June, it kind of stayed flat at this peak up here. And then it had a sell-off. But you can see that volume kicked in on this sell-off, but that volume has stayed. If you look at the volume back here, when it was at $13 a share, this is back in March and April and May, when it was moving sideways in a slight downtrend, there's hardly any volume on this stock. So it's good to see that volume pick up. There's been a lot of swing traders, day traders on this stock. We can also draw another trend line on this, on the relative strength of this stock. And it goes right here. And then it moves along up here. So as this trend line in price action is holding, you can also have a trend line down here on the relative strength index. It's making higher lows as it continues to move up. So it's great to see that. So the stock right now, fundamentally, at least on a technical analysis standpoint, it's moving in the right direction, and the technicals, they look good right now. It is below its 200-day moving average, and it's kind of using that as resistance over the past few days, but that's okay. As long as it doesn't break below this trend line here, and that's right around $15.40. If it stays above that over the next few days, then this trend will definitely continue for them. So SoFi is looking good. I'll have a video coming out on SoFi in a day or two. I have my next video that's coming out is on Palantir and their big win. But we're going to talk about that in the live stream today. But I'm also going to put out a video on that. Speaking of videos, did you catch my video that I put out yesterday on Tesla? wow, Tesla has got a bright future. I mean, not just looking at the electric vehicle part of Tesla, but looking at the robo-taxi potential, because GM's Cruise thinks they can do $50 billion. Well, Tesla's already got robo-taxis on the road right now today. People could turn them into robo-taxis if Tesla got approval and flipped the switch. So if GM thinks with their Cruise autonomy software that they have can bring in $50 billion in a couple of years, then Tesla, they could do way more than that. As a matter of fact, Kathy Wood of ARK Invest thinks that Tesla could bring in over $300 billion by 2025 with the robo-taxi aspect of the company being turned on. So it's pretty cool. Let's see what else we've got. Palo Alto, cybersecurity has been a story this week that those stocks have been slowly ticking up for sure. With the whole Facebook thing. Man, Facebook is just getting hit left, right, and center. We got Nintendo up 2.1%. Zillow is up 2.1%. But Zillow, though, they're at $88 a share. So I noticed if you guys don't already, you can actually sign up at ARK Invest to get their nightly email, which shows all of their trades during the day. They've been dumping some of their Zillow shares. So I'm wondering if this downtrend that Zillow is in, if they believe that maybe since the housing market is cooling off, will that also mean a cool off for stocks like Zillow or even Redfin? Could that be? It's a possibility. But with the iBuyer program, Zillow also participates in that. That could be a way for them to have recurring revenue, even if the homes being sold are at a lower cost. Well, that means buying the home will also be at a lower cost. So it's something to keep your eye on. The stock is definitely down and has been in that downtrend for a while now. We have another solar company up 2% today. So solar's been moving good. Virgin Galactic is up 2%. It's at $22.98. They've been moving up here. They had a big jump this morning, and then they kind of maintained that throughout the day. Papa John's is up 1.99% to $127. Let's see. We've got AMD up 1.8%, and it's holding over the $100 mark at $103. We've got Lemonade up 1.7%. It's sitting at $64. Lemonade has a tremendous growth story intact for the company. I mean, you think of Geico or Progressive as big insurance companies of today. Well, Lemonade has the opportunity to grow to a size of the same magnitude. And the stock is on a tremendous discount right now, sitting at $64.06 a share, down from highs of over $100, almost $200. If we go back and look at the peaks back in January, it was $188 a share, up from $47. That was a nice run for Lemonade, but since then, it's been slowly selling off, and then it will move sideways for a while, bounce around, and it's been in a downtrend now since, let's see, this would be July 1st. It has been in a downtrend. So how much further or how much more of a discount can Lemonade go on before investors say, okay, now is a good time to buy? Because if we look at this big V shape right here with the drop in and rebound, it got down to $58.83. So could $60 be the floor for Lemonade? It very well could be. I mean, the company, it had its big run, and if we go back here and look at their history, there's not much history for us to compare to. There we go. I got it all on the screen now. And if you look, the lowest the stock has ever been is $44. So it's at $60 now. Another 20 bucks come off, and it's now going to hit it's going to retest its bottom. So where is the bottom for this? Is it $60? Is it 55, 40? There's got to be a floor coming soon for Lemonade. It's a company that if it gets below 60, if it's in the 50s, I'm definitely watching with a buy order ready to go for this company, because it has a tremendous future ahead for it. Let's see what else is moving in the markets today. We've got Duke Energy up over $100 a share, up 1.6%. We got ARK Next Generation Internet, which is the ARK W fund. It was up 1.6% to $141 a share. Purple is up 1.6% to $21.71. Palantir, it's up 1.7% on the day. It had a big run last night in the aftermarket. It's up to $23.58 right now a share, down just a fraction in the after hours, just a few pennies. Let's see what else we got. Roblox, they're up 1.5% to $73. SunNova, let's see, Airbnb, Microsoft it's still wanting to hang around $300. It was up 1.5% today to $293. It wants to get back to that $300 mark, I think, but can it hold it there? You know, a lot of investors that have held Microsoft for a long time are wondering if this is the peak for Microsoft right now. When can it move beyond that $300 range mark? PayPal is up 1.5% to $264 a share. Now, let's take a look at some of the losers for today. Let's see. GoGo was down 12% today. That's a company, I believe we talked about them a couple days ago. They offer in-flight internet service and phone service. Poor Workhorse is just continually getting beaten up bad. We talked about that a couple days ago. Workhorse right now has got to prove themselves again. With the new CEO, new leadership team, Workhorse has got to put its head down. It's got to work, and it's got to prove itself again for this stock to have any chance of rebounding. It was down 9.2% today, down to $6.26. We were talking about where could a floor be for this, and quite frankly, I'm not sure. I'm not sure there is a floor right now for Workhorse. It could go down to $1. Just being frank there. We've got an internet-based company that's been on a tear recently, up over 100% at one point. It's back down 7.7% to $6.19. EA Sports is down 6.5%. There was some news on them today. I caught it this morning. Let's open that up and see what happened. Yeah, it took a big hit today. It looks like the chief studio officer of the EA sold $440,000 of stock. Man, it was down. Let's just click on this and see what it says. EA shares are trading lower, 6.5%. The downward move appears related to overall market weakness as stocks across sectors continue to dip among yield and inflation concerns. Yeah, but the market rebounded some since this morning, and this was put out at 9 o'clock this morning. So they don't have a specific reason in here besides the 10-year Treasury yield rising and inflation rising. So if you know, hit me up in the comments and let me know why do you think EA dropped so hard and fast today? Because it doesn't look like any of the news has any mentionings besides inflation and the 10-year rising. So not sure about that. Faraday futures, they were down 6.5%. LegalZoom down 5.2%. CarParts.com down 5%. Let's see, American Airlines was down 4.3%. Lionsgate Entertainment was down 4.2%. Let's see, what else do we have in here? Bed Bath & Beyond, Kohl's, Wingstop, retail restaurant down. Let's see, anything else? Canoe was down 3.2%. They're down into the workhorse range now of $6.65. Let's see, what else do we have? Toyota was down today 3%. Hyliion was down 2.9%. They're doing better than Workhorse is. They're at $7.70 a share, but they fell hard this morning and then kind of flattened out. Let's see, MarineMax was down 2.8%, back under $50 a share. This is a stock that under $50 is very attractive. And you can see this goes back on this chart to June of 2020, and you can see the nice rise they had all the way up to $70 a share, and then they fell off in the springtime, and they've been trading flat since then. This is a stock, the marine industry and the boating industry. I love that sector. I used to work in that sector, and it's doing so fabulously well right now. I mean, companies like MarineMax are selling boats left and right. I think one of the problems that they're going to face in the future will be inventory shortages. Manufacturers right now cannot make boats fast enough for dealerships like MarineMax to sell, and that could be one spot for the weakness right now. But something interesting about the marine market is, since the beginning, boats have either been powered by you paddling it or by an ICE engine, internal combustion engine. The marine industry, just like the automotive industry, is switching over to electric powertrains, just like Tesla. So a company to keep your eye on for that is Brunswick. They are making that transition from ICE motors to electric motors. And right here below MarineMax's Vision Marine Technologies, they are literally the Tesla of the boating industry. They make electric powered boats. They were down 2.8% to $6.46. So that's what we have as far as ups and downs. Again, we got some airlines in here taking a couple percentage points off today. Lordstown Motors is about to sink below $5 a share. It was down another 2.5% today. Yeah, and there's some restaurants on here. So, concerns. Ruth Steakhouse is on here again. Electric Last Mile Solutions, which is a electric vehicle company, they're down again. So a lot of these electric vehicle startups, if they're not manufacturing vehicles right now, like Lucid is slowly manufacturing vehicles, like Rivian is manufacturing vehicles, Tesla manufacturing, NIO is manufacturing. If the electric vehicle company is not manufacturing vehicles right now, then their stock price is not going to reflect anything above speculation. That's why you have Lordstown down so far. You have Electric Last Mile Solutions down. You have all of these other EV companies that were down today. So let's talk about the big news. And that, my friends, real quick though, I forgot to mention this. I like to look at this one chart right here because this gives you a great overview of what the market did today. Now, the majority of the market was down, and the majority of the market was down between 0 and 2%. So a very small move to the downside. On the opposite side of that, the second biggest movers were companies that were up 0 to 2% today. So very small moves as we ended the day, with companies being down just a little bit or being up just a little bit. Earlier this morning, a lot of this was red, and there was way more red than there was green. So I just like to point this out. Kind of gives you a bird's eye view of what the market was doing today. But let's talk about Palantir and the news that broke last night about Palantir and this new deal that they have. So for Palantir, excuse me, I just need to take a quick little drink here before we get into Palantir. Okay. All right. So Palantir last night, their stock price jumped because of this news. And I want to talk about why this is a big deal and what it means for Palantir. So Palantir, and just a quick overview, just real quick, it's the secretive developer of data analytics software for government agencies and the private sector companies. It has a Gotham platform for the government and Foundry platform for the private sector. Its stock spiked sharply in after hours after the close yesterday, after revealing that it had won a lucrative contract from the U.S. Army. The stock has since cooled off a little bit, although shares are still displaying notable relative strength today for a couple of different reasons. The news represents a major win for the company, which has seen its stock drop over 20% since September the 23rd. That plunge roughly coincides with a Business Insider article on September 30th that shed doubt on whether the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, whether that agency would renew its surveillance contract with Palantir. Although it's not clear exactly how much this multi-year contract is worth, the controversial deal is believed to be valued at nearly $50 million over its entirety. Prior to that story, there were concerns that demand for Palantir's intelligence gathering software would take a hit after the U.S. and their troops exited from Afghanistan. On a related note, communications equipment maker Comtech Telecom, ticker symbol CMTL, reported disappointing Q4 21 results and provided downside Q1 22 guidance yesterday, citing the U.S. troop withdrawal, as one of the factors behind the soft outlook. With these items in mind, the contract win from the U.S. Army eases concerns that Palantir's bread and butter government military business is heading for a steep downturn. At this moment in time, any further talk of Palantir's decline, in my opinion, is simply FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. The other aspects that stand out to me about this news is the sheer size of the deal. Specifically, this IDIQ contract has a potential ceiling of $823 million, the majority of which is expected to be awarded to Palantir. Of course, this amount would be earned over a fixed period of time. I believe it's about 4 years, maybe 7 at the most, but it has the potential to move the top line needle on a quarterly basis for sure. For some context, Palantir is expected to generate revenue of $386.5 million in Q3. It's also notable that Palantir apparently beat out competitor BAE Systems, ticker symbol BAESY, for this contract. Over the past couple of years, the Army fielded multiple proposals for its Capability Drop 2 or CD2 program, which aims to provide accurate data to soldiers from multiple sources on the battlefield. While BAE was considered one of the frontrunners to win the deal, the Army ultimately selected Palantir's Gotham platform to support the intelligence functionality of the CD2 program. Lastly, the win also comes at a time when Palantir's commercial business is picking up steam and gaining traction. In Q2, U.S. commercial revenue soared by 90% as its commercial customer count increased by 32% quarter over quarter. That strong performance followed a 72% jump in commercial revenue in Q1, turning some skeptics into believers about Palantir's opportunities outside of the government realm. The main takeaway is that Palantir's contract win with the Army is a reassuring development, illustrating that its government military business is still on solid footing and Palantir has many years of growth ahead of it. So, what do you think about this new contract for Palantir? Does it help to put your concerns that Palantir may be losing its government contracts from that Business Insider report? Or do you feel more confident about Palantir with this Army contract? Let me know in the comments. Also, if you have any questions about any companies, leave the ticker symbol and your question in the comments and we will go over them. Okay, next up is Bitcoin. This company is, I'm so used to talking about companies right now. Bitcoin is definitely not a company. It's the complete opposite of a company. But if you look at the chart here for Bitcoin, on Monday, or maybe yesterday, no, I think it was Monday. No, it was yesterday. Definitely yesterday. We talked about this area right here. This trend line that Bitcoin had broken above and the wick was above it, and then it kind of closed right down on the line. And I said, if Bitcoin tomorrow, which would have been today, could open above this trend line and stay above this trend line, then there is no resistance for Bitcoin until, guess what? guess what price point this next trend line is at? $59,000 to $60,000. So Bitcoin right now is sitting at $55,100 and say $50. It has no resistance until it gets to $59,000 to $60,000. There are some smaller resistance levels that it should be able to blow right past. One that it did today was at 52,500. That was a smaller resistance line. There's another smaller resistance right here at about, say, 55,550. That's a smaller resistance level. You can see for today, the wick went up and touched that line, but it has fallen back slightly from it. So this is a small resistance area. Then after that, we have a small resistance at $57,900. After that, it's up to $59,000, $60,000. And then that's where the next big test for Bitcoin will come in, at this resistance line here, because there's two resistance areas for Bitcoin right here. Number one is the trend line resistance that Bitcoin will have to pass through. The second resistance area here is a price action resistance line. So as Bitcoin approaches $59,000, it's going to have to break through these two resistance areas right here. And that's between 59,000 and 69,000. So right now, Bitcoin looks very healthy and very strong. As you can see from its last bottom right here on the 29th of September, since then, September 30th and all of October has been nearly straight up. And it could very well continue that way. Now, this is a daily chart for Bitcoin. So it's showing the morning open and the nightly close for Bitcoin on each candle. And if we look, there is one candle that was red in this rally so far. It would not surprise me to see another one of those red little bars on its way to $59,000 to $60,000. So just keep that in mind as you're investing or trading with Bitcoin. Now, other cryptocurrencies have been doing well, but they're not performing as well as Bitcoin. Because Bitcoin right now, as a lot of people will suggest and talk about, is on the last leg of its bull run. And it is expected to be a massive bull run. There's a lot of speculation that Bitcoin is going to run and hit $100,000 per coin by the end of this year. So in just a few short months, many people are projecting that Bitcoin will hit $100,000. So let me just pull up real quick for you this chart for Bitcoin. Just give me a quick second. As I'm pulling this up, remember, if you have a question about any ticker symbol, any company, leave the ticker symbol in the comments and we will talk about it. We'll talk about it right now. If you have a question, leave the ticker symbol in the comment section with your question and we'll talk about it. Okay. All right. I'm looking for this Bitcoin chart to show you. Let's see here real quick. Okay. Here we go. All right, let's take a look at this real quick. Let's reload it here so we can get a better view. All right, so this is the stock to flow model for Bitcoin. All the different colored dots that you see running along the white line are Bitcoin price action, and each dot represents a closing price for Bitcoin since, let's see, it began in 2010. So since 2010 to right now, you can see that Bitcoin has been following this white line all the way up. And just recently, over this last few days of October, in this run that it's been in, it has recently gotten back to the line. Now, this is the chart that suggests Bitcoin should be at $100,000 by the end of this year. And this chart, the stock to flow model for Bitcoin, was put together by Plan B. He is an anonymous person who has put this together, and you can follow him on Twitter at 100, the word trillion, and then USD. That's his Twitter handle. And he posts some amazing stuff about Bitcoin. But this tweet here was a retweet. He shared this tweet on June 20th, 2021. And what it says here, Bitcoin is below 34K, triggered by FUD, okay? But the price points down here are what are most interesting. So his worst case scenario for 2021, and these are price on-chain based analysis. August, a close above 47,000. Check mark. Bitcoin closed above 47,000 in August. September, close above 43,000. Another check mark. Bitcoin closed above 43,000. So, is this really good work? And is this prophecy? Or is this convenience or something else? Just think about it for a moment. Because October, he says Bitcoin will close above $63,000. November will close above $98,000. And December, when we get to December 31st, Bitcoin will close above $135,000. Now, does that sound crazy to you? Well, being able to say back in June, accurately predict Bitcoin's August close and September close are pretty darn good. If he can be spot on with October's close, which it looks like Bitcoin is headed for that $59,000 to $60,000 resistance level we just talked about on the charts, he's saying it's going to close at 63,000. Is it? If it does, that'll be 3 checks in a row, 3 months in a row that he's called the closing price for Bitcoin, which then makes me believe that closing November at 98,000 or above and December at 135,000 or above seems more realistic. But I don't know. Bitcoin is amazing. I love the fundamental factors that Bitcoin provides to individuals. But can it reach those price targets? Can Bitcoin go up another 50%, over 50% by the end of November? 135,000 by the end of December? I don't know. You let me know in the comments what you think. What do you think Bitcoin's going to close at October, November, and then December? Let me know in the comments. I'll be interested to see what you have to say. And remember, If there's a company you would like us to talk about, leave the ticker symbol in the comments and we'll go through it, chart and financials. Okay, let's go back to Palantir for just a moment. Now, we talked about the big story for Palantir, but let's look at the chart for Palantir. So what this is a daily close for Palantir. And right now what I have on the screen is its entire existence. From the day it took the direct listing all the way till today. And you can see you could have got in at $10 a share for Palantir. And it took a nice run up. It went all the way up to $45 even, nice and clean. And then it has come down since then. And it's been trading kind of sideways. But what I wanted to point out is since September, let's see, what is this last top right here? September the 29th was Palantir's last top. It made a double top and then it fell. It dropped 20.3%. Okay. Now, Palantir, I believe, was on a path to come back down to support somewhere around $21. But the news came out with the Army contract, and that helped to stop Palantir's fall and propel the stock back up. So right now it's sitting at $23.58. Earnings for Palantir were very well. We talked about that when we were looking at Palantir. Their earnings were excellent. Their growth was excellent. The growth capability for Palantir is excellent. Palantir has been beating expectations every single month, although the last 2 quarters were a little close on that, but they still beat expectations. Their financials have been doing very well. And if we look at where Palantir has been performing recently, because of this pull down from September the 29th, 28th timeframe, the past week, it's down 3.2%. The past month, 10.9%. And the only reason it's green for the past 3 months is because of the price action from last night and today. So that's where Palantir is sitting at on the chart. Right now, it doesn't have very much support at the level it's at. It needs to come down to $21 or so in that ballpark for there to be any significant support for Palantir. But if we look at the relative strength index, right now Palantir is sitting right down here at a 32.59 reading. And remember, 30 is oversold. So anything 30 and below is oversold, just like anything 70 and above is overbought. So right now it's sitting at the bottom of the relative strength index. So for Palantir to fall any further than it is right now, then that relative strength index is going to have to sink pretty low, and it's already sitting very low. So that looks good for Palantir for the rest of the week. Because if we go back to look at historical lows, whenever it's been down in this oversold range, this point right here, it got down to 24 points. And remember, right now, it's sitting at about 32 points. So it could fall a few more points. But when it reached this bottom, what did it do? It rallied. And then back here, and let me move this over a little bit so the instrument controls are out of the way. When it reached this bottom, it reached the bottom of 22 points. It rallied. And then for any other lows oversold like that, we have to go all the way back to the beginning, which really doesn't count because that's the day that it launched its direct offering. So there's only 2 other times in Palantir's history that it's reached oversold sold levels, and each time it has rallied. So just some more anecdotal evidence there for what Palantir might do for the rest of the week or for the next couple weeks, month to come. So I just wanted to point that out for you. Okay, do you have any questions for me? Because if you don't, I'm going to wrap up this live stream. And remember, leave the ticker symbol, leave your question. We'll go through the financials. We'll go through the stock chart, and we'll try to answer the question the best that we can. Also, if you're watching the replay of this, make sure to also, if you have a question about a company, leave their ticker symbol and leave your questions in the comments, and we will answer that in our next live stream. And we do this live stream every day. The market is open after 4 p.m. And we go for about an hour or so. So that's it for what I had to share with you today. So if there are no questions for me, I'll wrap it up here. I want to thank you so very much for watching. Make sure to smash that like button, share this video with everyone you know, and click subscribe to join our family of investors. Thank you so very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.